Nduta.
Yeah, Isaya.
Introduce yourself.
I mean, he called me Nduta. Okay, yes. I am Nduta Sialo. I'm the National Secretary of the Kenya Actors Guild.
National Secretary. Kwani kuna regional secretary?
You know, I had to use national because I belong. I mean, this is a national post, and I should be able to take care of all Kenyan actors throughout the country. So it is a national post.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Kenyan Actors Guild.
Kenya Actors Guild was founded in 2008 by Eli Young and Lupita Nyong'o and Peter King.
Wait,
yeah.
Which Lupita?
The one and only,
Lupita.
Yes, Lupita.
Founded the Kenya Actors Guild.
Exactly. So
Lupita is a member of the Kenya Actors Guild.
She is. She's a founding member.
Okay.
She's a founding member. And they actually went further and got a constitution done, and which we follow through till today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, to be a leader of the Kenya Actors Guild, or of course to be in the Kenya Actors Guild, you have to be an actor.
Absolutely.
So how did this start?
Oh my goodness. So you want to know my journey? It's a very interesting one because I have no, and I'm putting this on record, I had no training whatsoever in acting. Actually, how I ended up in this position, or where I am in this career that I love so much, I took my daughter for an audition at the National Theatre, and it was for a role for Lies That Bind, I think for a 16-year-old girl. And as we queued there, the team kept on passing me and asking me, do you think you can go on and do this role? And by then I was a manager at a bank. And I kept on saying, no, I have a job, I don't think I can do this, I don't think I'll have the time. But they kept pushing and prodding. And eventually when my daughter got to the door and she went in, I just said, okay, yeah, fine, I'll do it. I have no experience whatsoever. I'll just go read the lines like you're instructing me to do so. So when I got in, the first thing I did tell the people in there was that I have no acting experience. I don't intend to work with them. And anyway, I have a job. So I'm doing this because some person out there has told me to do this.
Yeah. So
I read the script, and at the end of that, all of them were just clapping and saying, you're a natural. So I said, wait a minute, I employ people every other day. And not one day have I told a person that, you know what, you suck, so you can't work, you have no whatevers, and you go and be miserable. Yeah. I've always told them, you did well,
perfect,
don't worry, we're going to call you. That's the
don't
normal
call us, we'll
call you, right? You know that one, right? So that was my attitude. And 2 days later, they did call, and we did do more. They did some more, I don't know what you can call it then, but I had to
screen tests.
Screen tests, exactly. So we did some screen tests with 2 other, actors, and eventually I did get the role, and they got to work around me. This was in 2012, and I think it was about in April we started shooting Lies That Bind season 1. The agreement was, and I had to speak to my employer, was I would give 3 afternoons in a week, with a morning or afternoon, which would have to be a half day, to the acting. So this worked very well with the producer and my job, as long as I met my targets, which I did. I always overshot my targets for the bank. So I had a lot of time now to go and act. So it wasn't a problem.
So yeah, here you are. You're a bank manager.
Yeah.
In the evening, you're an actor.
No, in the afternoon.
In the afternoon, you're an actor.
Yeah.
And the AD is shouting at you. How did you take that? Now in the bank, you are the one shouting at people. Well, I'm using shouting very loosely.
I know what you mean. But the thing is, because I had no idea who is what. So I was following instructions. That's the one thing I've always learned, even when I'm working with a team, is listen. If you don't know, ask. And ask until somebody really explains it to you until you get it. Okay. So that was my attitude. I never noticed anything. All I did was to follow instructions. But of course, if there were things that made me unhappy and I was not comfortable with, I did air my concerns. And anybody who has worked with me knows that I will not keep quiet until it's addressed. So it was okay. I guess I didn't really have a problem.
Finally, you left your bank job.
That was much later, actually, because then in the same year, when I started acting in 2012, I think we started in April, in November, I got the Kalasha.
You won.
In the same year, 6 months later, I had no idea what it was. I know I told you that much, right? First of all, when they came in and told me you've been nominated for a Kalasha, I was like, why are y'all running around looking happy? What's going on? I had no idea. That's how green and naive I was. I had no idea what a kalasha was and what the excitement was about. So my producer had to call and explain to me. And she was like, you have no clue. I'm like, yeah. So when she explained it to me, I was like, oh my God, I should be happy, right? So even for the event, and it's so weird, but even for the event, when I went for the event, I actually went late because I had actually second thoughts. I was like, I don't want to go. Can I pass? And it was my daughter who says, Mom, you really don't understand how serious this is. We're going. We are going.
No.
So we did. And when I got the award and I looked at the whole room and looked at how everybody was so passionate about the work that they had done over a long time, or what the performance was, and they won something and how important that was, it clicked to me. This is something.
Yeah.
And you know, from then I've always been very happy and comfortable in front of the camera, and that is now my home, my space. This is where I really need to be.
And your Kalasha was hotly contested because there was Usha from Mali, Mkamze,
Yes,
Mwatela,
yes.
it was, and you won it.
There was Usha.
And you didn't know what it meant?
I didn't know, innocently. But you know, I like that because you don't have an attitude.
Yeah.
It's real, and you start realizing that people appreciate you regardless of where you came from. People appreciate you. So there's something good you're doing.
So where did you come from?
Isaiah, I come from the hospitality industry. I worked with Air France for 11 years. I speak fluent French. I worked with Gulf Air, not coffee tea, okay? We were selling Kenya as a destination and teaching the ticketing system in French. It's called the Amadeus system. So I was teaching the French-speaking countries in the region as well. I worked for Leisure Lodge, Beach and Golf Resort as the sales and marketing manager. I was selling Kenya as a golfing destination. How interesting is that? And then I went into banking. So that's me in a nutshell. Basically, my CV is what you've heard just now. So it tells you that I am a person, when I get into something, I don't just jump out of it. I believe in working for a long time. I'm a consistent worker, and that's the kind of person I am.
Why did you get into acting? As in, you've been a manager? I just need to understand.
No,
this.
I know.
Because you see,
I know,
people
right?
think that actors probably are not well-read people. Have you gone to school?
Of course, I went to school, excuse moi. But your question is really
No, I'm just
valid.
checking.
I know.
Because you're an actor.
I know, and I'll tell you why. You know what people have to understand is that I've done all that, and I appreciate that. I cannot regret one day for the life that I have led. I don't regret that. It has added value to what I do today. All right? And I have done that, but it was something, I had a gift inside that had to come out, and I had never done that. So it was the minute I'd done that, I looked at my life, I saw my kids are big, they've led their lives, it was time to do Duta. And what does Duta want to do, and what passion does she have in her? And it's this job. It's not the paycheck. I've gotten the paycheck, I've gotten everything else, I've gotten a good life. But this is my passion. It is quality life. I'm doing what I want to do, and I love it. And that's why I'm in the guild, because I've looked at it, having the background of having an employment. Having an employer is that you know that definitely there are things that they're guided by certain laws.
Yes.
In the guild is to make sure that these laws are implemented. What laws govern us? What affects us actors? So I've had the opportunity to even be mistreated on set and get bad contracts. So being a banker, I know how to look at a contract very well.
How does that go down? Does it go down well with your employers,
my producers,
for actors, producers?
You know, it has not been very nice because I've been able to be open and I say this is an exploitation right here. When you have an actor on your set working for almost 48 hours, or even a child actor working throughout the weekend, and you deliver a 6-year-old child back to the parent at 3 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and the child has to go back to school like every other child. What is that?
What are the challenges that actors in Kenya are facing now? And I'm asking you this very direct question because you come from the corporate world and now you've been an actor, so you understand how both worlds work.
Yeah.
So what are the challenges?
The lack of knowledge. that's very, very clear, is that we have to understand what are our battles as an actor. It is not the producer's battle. First address you. Now, knowledge is when it comes to look at the labor laws. We do not exist in the labor laws. Even in casual laborers, or what you call unskilled laborers, these are our masons, these are our carpenters, those kind of people. We are not recognized. Yet, you find a person like Isaya goes to university or does his master's and comes back into this industry. Are you telling me that he is not well read? He's not a professional? We have people who have gone outside this country 15, 20 years, come back. You're not a professional? There are people in universities right now doing film and acting. That is a profession, but you cannot come back, even pay your taxes as an actor. Because you have to go to KRA to physically have them type the word actor. I cannot go and say, Ati, my profession is an actor. They'll be like, what?
What's that?
Because we are not even recognized.
The law does not recognize
That is the
actors.
first thing that actors have to fight for. And that is what I have been doing. And my office is trying to get this into legislature. We've had opportunities to sit with the Senate for ICT and also the Senate for Arts. And they were shocked to hear that we don't even exist in that capacity in the Ministry of Labor. What is the minimum wage for an actor? Whether he's on theater, on stage, or on screen. There has to be a minimum wage. And this thing really drives me insane.
Yes.
Because when you're telling me to do passion projects, for how long, Isaiah?
No, but I think actors, you should accept to be paid by exposure.
Yeah, but no, you cannot.
This is me joking.
I know, but you know what really, really drives. I don't mind. I understand there are pilot projects that we can do all the time.
No, I'm not even.
But not every other day, and I'll be very honest here. What disturbs me to the core is that we do not understand our contracts very well, that we sign very bad contracts, where you find somebody saying, oh, I'm going to pay you after 45 days after I have sold this particular whatever, but then you find out later this production has been sold and resold, and almost 8 months down the line, you have not gotten your money. So you explain to me, how is this actor going to pay their rent, their electricity? How are they going to feed themselves? How are they going to feed their families if they have families? So you find this actor ending up being depressed, right? I hate it when I go into a meeting and somebody says a remark like, wasani, they're always at Kenya Actors, Kenya National Theatre, ni bangi tuna, they're smoking bangi and they're drinking. That is the level of people thinking about us. Or when you go to somewhere like now, for me with my background, and I'm asked by a professional or somebody who knew me in my former life, so Nduta, what are you doing these days? Oh no, I'm a full-time actor. Okay, yeah, fine. What else are you doing?
I also get asked that by the guys I went to campus with. Hey, ulipatanga ati nilikuwa na kwa TV. Hey, ulipatanga job. I'm like, this is work.
You know, what do you do for a living? Yes, I do. I am an actress. I'm an actor. I do this every day. 24. And how are you surviving?
But
it's a profession, and I'm proud of what I do.
Okay, so the guild is working with the Senate to ensure that laws are there.
We are engaging. Because there was also the issue of royalties not being paid.
Yeah.
And I'll explain that. The income that an actor has is the contract that you sign that I'm going to do this particular work. The minute they say, oh, Nduta, you're wrapped, you're out of a job.
Yeah.
So that is the first remuneration that you receive as an actor.
Yes.
The second remuneration that you can possibly get is if you're a member of a CMO, that's a collective management organization, who collect our royalties for us. So that is another form of revenue that is coming to the actor.
Yes.
Now there's going to be a catch 95 here. If broadcasting houses or users of our works do not pay the CMOs, in our instance as performers, it is Prisk, we don't get our royalties.
Okay.
Right? Yet you will find, now this is another issue where you find a producer has sold the product to one broadcasting house, resold it to another broadcasting house, and it goes bouncing all over the place, but the actor does not get anything because these broadcasting houses have not paid. You understand?
Yes.
So this is now another issue that we've been trying to tell Senate, that broadcasting houses or some broadcasting houses are not paying. And this is when I remember the chairman of the Arts Committee, Honorable Sakaja, said the next meeting that we have, let's call CAK in And any broadcasting house that has not paid, why don't we switch off their signals? To me, that made sense. Why are you, because even you look at the quality of the products that they're actually putting, to be honest, on our screens. Very few broadcasting houses are using very good quality products from Kenya. But you find a producer struggling to sell the product to a local broadcasting house because they're not going to pay what it's worth. So you find that content is always going outside.
Yeah, the Kenyan. Actually, there's this thing. What wanasema ati I can't watch Kenyan products. Ni mbaya. But what do people mean? Because I've seen so much quality, good Kenyan.
I'll be honest.
Why can't we shoot Transformers? Why can't we shoot Star Wars?
I'll tell you that for a fact, and I'll be very honest. I have sat and like a test and looked at what is being put on our screens. I can appreciate when the local person tells me I cannot watch a Kenyan production because the shows that are being put on some of the broadcasting houses are painful to watch. Let's just be honest. Okay. So I understand
but what is the reason? Because
this is the reason. The reason is very clearly there is good quality material, but nobody wants to pay for it.
Yeah.
If I come and tell you, Isaiah, you go and shoot 13 episodes of whatever it is, I'm going to give you 30,000.
Star Wars like thing.
I'm going to give you 30,000 shillings. There's a broadcasting house here, and I'm not going to say who it is. I'm going to give you 30,000 shillings per episode. Isaiah, ni camera, ni crew, utafanya nini na hizo pesa?
Catering,
ni catering, ni nini.
So the Kenyan audience needs to understand that the reason why we don't have the quality they'd want is because the broadcasters are not willing to invest enough money into it. My
argument here and my way forward would be, just like I'm told by the law of this land, my car has to be roadworthy. Right?
Yes.
So should the content be they should be given a criteria and say this is the kind of content you're supposed to put on our screens and this is the value. Yes. So they are forced that the minimum wage you can pay, a minimum amount that you can pay a producer per episode is like, let's say, 500,000. 500,000 will give very good quality, by the way. They can be able to deliver. And I challenged one broadcasting house. One person asked me from that particular house, Nduta, where do you expect me to get this money? And I said, you guys always never fail on time. Every quarter, you do your financials and you post them out there in the media for me to read what a success you have been.
Yes.
You've made all this money. And I also get to see your presenters driving all these flashy cars. Yeah? And we know how much money they're earning. But I also know how much money you make from what? Your obituaries page. I told him, if you can't find money, that obituaries page, how much money do you make? Yeah? Give 5 producers. They'll give you good content. He couldn't answer me. You see what I mean?
Yes.
If we want to go and dig there, I'm telling you, there's so much opportunity in this industry, I'm telling you. It can to contribute to our GDP. But if we stop being greedy, give the actor what is due to the actor, because I won't lie to you, right now you're taking this recording. Yeah. Without me here, it is blank.
Truth.
Okay?
Truth, yeah.
Buy all your fancy cameras, write a good story. But if an actor is not there to bring it to life, I'm sorry, I don't know what we're doing. Even if you challenge me and tell me, okay, I'm going to force people to watch documentaries and you're going to talk about an ant, I don't understand, because you need my voice over to do that, to tell you that this ant is going into the hole and it's going to meet with other soldiers and they're going to do XYZ. That is an actor's job. True. So that is how important we are as actors.
The Kenya Actors Guild and the producers and the broadcasters can have an MOU, because
that would be amazing.
I feel if the Kenya Actors Guild and the producers came together and spoke as one, because you see I'm sorry because now, well, I'm an actor, but now I have to look at it from the other side, because now you're representing the actors. If the guild and the producers came together and said, guys, kama guild tumesema actor asilipwe bob, so producer kindly talk to the broadcaster, mwambie actors hawatachukua.
You know, I agree with you, because there are amazing producers out there. Some of them even we've been talking and we've been saying we have the common problem.
Yeah.
If we got together And we said, you know what? We are not giving content until this is met. And we sit down and say, this is the situation. Because the country is still having issues. Are you telling me that the loaf of bread is always going to cost 50 shillings?
Yeah.
You seeing what's happening with the fuel?
Yes.
We are all being affected, all of us. So how are we making our ends meet? So there has to be some kind of understanding, and I agree with you there, 110%. If the producers and the actors got together, and the scriptwriters, because that's another docket that is not really taken care of, because they need their rights as well. They have royalties that they need to be paid, and that needs to go into legislature.
Yeah.
You understand?
So it just needs to be very clear.
We all need to sit together and say, what do we want? What works? But I will tell you one thing I do not believe in. I don't throw stones. That is not negotiation. You cannot negotiate with government by throwing stones and insulting each other. That does not work. You sit down and dialogue. That's one thing I believe in.
Okay.
Dialogue is the only way.
So so that it's very clear, what the guild is telling the producers out there is that we are not fighting with you.
No.
We are in this together.
We are.
We need to find ways of making everything work.
Isaiah, if my producer is paid good money to put out there for the local people to enjoy our work, our content, I mean, really, what am I fighting? What am I fighting? If he pays me, he gets paid. It's a chain.
Yeah.
And the audience appreciates him. You understand?
Yes.
And people are leaving schools, university to become producers. But they need to grow. There's so much talent. I've worked with very young producers, upcoming producers, and it breaks my heart. You can see they're so passionate, but then they're being discouraged. You get?
Yeah. For example, they're being discouraged. You call someone, there are people who started as actors and they inbox you and they tell you, hey, I wanted to be an actor. I was called as an extra. Nilitreatiwa vibaya huko, siezi kwa action. And then I tell them, no, that's that true. One situation.
Yeah, I know.
Other people are doing well. And I think maybe as a film industry and as crew and cast
we
and
need to pull each other up.
And just do the right thing. Yeah. Just be professional.
You use the right word. Do the right thing. It doesn't cost much. Just do the right thing.
Actually, it doesn't cost any money to just ensure that when your extras are not shooting, they are not in a cold place.
I have not understood.
It's just
PR, I've not understood one thing. Why there's food, different food for background actors. You refer them as extras. I call them background actors. If my food is different, what is that? Already you've drawn a line. You know that you've already drawn a line. And for me as Kenya Actors Guild, I'm supposed to be mentoring people and helping them to grow. My job is to secure and what?
To securing actors.
And what else? I have to make sure they grow as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because not everybody started or got lucky to start where I started.
Yes.
There are people who look up to me and they want to be there. And there's so many talented people. I will not lie to you. I've had the opportunity at the Guild. People ask me for actors and I send them people who I've just seen and they go and they perform. I don't even know them well. That means that there's so much talent here throughout the country. Not just in Nairobi, throughout the country. There's so much talent and we are many. Not only on screen. I keep on saying even theater. Theater, first of all, is a field that I'm so passionate about. I've never done theater. But I've talked to my colleagues and I've seen what they've gone through and it pains me. It pains me to have somebody engaged for 6 weeks to come and earn 1,500 a show for 3 days. So you've earned how much for the month? For the 2 months, 2 months and 2 weeks.
But who does the buck stop with?
I know I don't want to see it. I don't want to say that word.
Yes.
I'm going to move that and go to set books. That's another lot that I feel very pained about. And I did simple mathematics. Uangalia chuo kama Alliance Girls, they've got 7 streams. Maybe 4 streams of a class of 50 will come for the weekend. How many are those? Then the neighboring schools will also attend. All right, do the math. Then each child is paying 100 bob.
It's actually 200. No,
Even if it's
I'm not wrong.
200.
Let's say 100.
Even if 100 shillings, we're already in the millions, okay? When we do that simple math.
Yeah.
You find somebody going home with maybe 3K, 4K. That person I'm not mentioning takes the rest. That's why effective this year, I made sure I've incorporated rates for set books and for theaters, for stage actors. Because that's another lot of actors who are going through so much and they work hard.
Nduta, you want to die young, utauliwa, utapigwa kwa mtandao. You're joking.
No, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah. I mean, it's the truth. And by the way, these rates, it was not Nduta who put them. I gave those rates to actually, I asked actors who are in that field, who have had experience, tell us what the figures they expect. And guess what? I even halved it.
Okay.
So it is not about me, but it's also about their welfare. Again, in that area, it's open to discussion. We are not fighting producers who are in theater. We respect you and this great stuff that you're doing. There are musicals that we see that are great, that are coming out. But let's have dialogue. You want to make a little bit of money, but also the people that work with you are helping you make this money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If, for example, you pay your actor well, your sound guy well, the person who sweeps the set well,
yeah.
Do you know they'll never go anywhere else?
What do you mean?
And you will have
this industry will grow.
Professionals.
This
forever.
Industry will grow to another level.
But now you keep hiring, as in it's a cycle, and then the quality is low there. Anyway, film.
I know.
Film. Where is the film industry in Kenya?
Growing. This conversation happening. I can see it going. It's very positive. Very, very positive. It's not all that great. So everything I've talked about earlier, so guys, just for a moment that was behind, but where we are now, the creative industry, we call ourselves the creative industries under dialogue. Those are producers, these are actors, these are technical teams, script writers. All of us are together saying this is our situation. What do we want changed already? We have a draft film policy that is in place, and we hope that it will be able to be, it's been sitting without, I don't want to say it, let me be very careful about this one. We are hoping that it will get to cabinet for them to see it and then bring it to the public for us to discuss it and finally get it passed into law. So it is something that has not been happening. So there is promise for this industry. I can say finally we are being heard.
Finally we are being heard. It might take 2 days, it might take 10 years, but we'll be there.
The beauty of this step that people have sacrificed, because even the work that I do is pro bono. Okay? Nobody pays me to do what I do. But for the future, we are making change.
But someone said, I saw in a group, someone said that the reason at you guys, and I was mad anyway, at you guys are doing these things because you want to have the sitting allowance. What is that? Don't answer.
I cannot even start thinking about a sitting allowance because I had that rumor and I decided to ignore it. Because number one, what we are doing is for passion. When I sit for hours and get a memorandum pushed through, something has happened. When I'm sitting to make change, is not for just you, Isaiah, as an actor, it is also for me. You understand?
Exactly.
It is also for me because this is my job as well. Then nasikia nimenyanyaswa, nasikia niko na stress, and I want to make change. I want to be part of the change. Okay. So when we sit and we had the International Film Convention last year, it was a resounding success for the country, for East Africa, and we had resolutions passed. And where are we now? You can see what we are doing now.
Yes.
It is a journey that you start. So anybody who wants to think that I'm being given money, I'm not being given any. What money? Seriously. How do I eat? I'm not supposed to eat. I'm not waiting to be given money from a sitting allowance. I have to work like every other actor in this country. And if I don't do that, then I do a voiceover, just like you, Isaiah. And if I don't do that, I have to look for business to do, which has got nothing to do with sitting allowances. I tell you, I also teach.
Yeah.
So I cannot sit here and wait for manna to fall from heaven.
Speaking of teaching,
I work.
where do you teach?
I teach etiquette and customer care.
Ah.
Yes.
Do I have a ticket?
Well. Well.
Pathetic.
No, I'll not do that. It's we teach also state protocol.
State
protocol.
State protocol.
Yes, this is a separate thing that we also do, and we teach.
Wait, what's state protocol?
When you have a function, a government function, and you have to know how you're going to address His Excellency, or how you're going to have the carpets done, or dignitaries, where do they sit? How do you organize the entire function? It's a whole different story.
Do you teach at the Kenya government school?
We've had the opportunity to do that, and we've also had the opportunity to work with different county governments as well, which we have successfully trained. And it's not just that. We also have to deal with the different categories of people, right from the government, the governor himself, through to his office, through to the MCAs, through down to the administrators, all the way right through to the ward administrators. Why do we do this? Is because you must have continuity.
Yeah.
In service, when they're serving you, the public, you must
yeah.
have continuity. Our MCAs are traveling out there to benchmark. They're going to conduct business on the county's behalf. Usiende hapo. But how
you know where I was going, right?
How they conduct themselves, okay?
Kenya International Sports Film Festival.
Imagine. I'm so proud of this one. Kenya International Sports Film Festival is the first ever sports film festival on the continent of Africa. And I'm so proud to be Kenyan, to be a film festival director of this project. Film stories can be told, but what stories are there? And what I've learned from this, with 1,323 entries, submissions from all over the world, are different stories being told through sports by amazing people who have actually changed my life. I look at the para sports, I'm very passionate about that. I'm very passionate about the intellectually challenged sportsmen and women who fall under Special Olympics, you know, and the stories that they tell and how sports unifies everybody. We know sports film inspires, but sports unifies everyone. And and as you note, when our sportsmen and women are going out there and winning for us, we're not there saying, oh, a Luo has been running, or a Kikuyu, or a Kalenjin. We're there, Kenya, Jew. Right?
Yes.
And it unifies us. At that time, we do not see any tribal issues. But there are more powerful stories that are coming from this festival. We've seen for sports how it unifies people during times of war. I don't want to tell you much, but we have those stories. We have stories of a whole film done by Mongoloid children about football. So there's so many stories. We have our own stories here, some entries from Kenya I'm so proud of. I'm so proud for, but I cannot say a thing because I'm still judging. Okay. And we have international judges as well. I can tell you it's not about, we are sifting, but we have international judges who are involved. And the support that we've been able to get from all over the world, including members of the diplomatic corps here, is just mind-boggling. So there's so much we can do as an industry and tell different stories.
What's the end game?
This is a sports film festival. People watch Rocky, which won awards. Yes. That's a sports film festival. We have those as well. We have drama.
Okay.
We have comedy. We have an entry that is an animation. This is just amazing. Animation on sports. I mean, I know you're thinking, well, you want me to tell you, okay, yeah, fine. It's just the creativity of, like, even having balls, different, cricket balls, basketballs, and tennis balls, all coming to talk to each other and creating a story.
Yeah.
you know, there's such powerful stories that are being told. So you can understand why a sports film festival is, because they need that platform. We have different issues that we will want on different panels addressed. And as you know, our sportsmen and women in Kenya have got issues. Especially, and I'll keep on insisting, the para sports, or the specially challenged sportsmen and women across the different disciplines. There are issues that need to be addressed, and I'll say it as painfully as that. I don't want to say it right now, but how do we get that in legislature? How do we get resolutions passed to address these issues? Because we can't take it anymore. As a Kenyan, it's not acceptable to see what our sportsmen and women are going through today. It's not, forget about the payments that we keep on seeing there. If you actually get the core of issues that are going on, ladies and gentlemen, we will start to understand that we need to start paying more attention and get more involved. Ladies and gentlemen, I also say this very clearly. The population of Kenya, majority are the youth. The average age is 18 years old. And that should frighten you. What are these children doing? You talk about saying, we keep on saying these are the leaders of tomorrow. And every day we are turning papers and seeing slay queens being murdered. Why are there slay queens in the first place? Are we telling our girls that they can't work hard? That is the only way out? Something is wrong and something has to give. Because sports promotes discipline, health, and up here. So it helps you, and you have to come back and see what is the future. We have a lot, like we had a meeting this morning, and a gentleman from the para sports says that there's a generation, now they're the older generation, they're turning 50 in the next 2 years, but there are no young para sports guys. Where are they? Yes, where are they? Where are they? This is a very serious situation. When you find that the whole team is comprising of guys who are going to turn 50 in 2 years.
And it's a team for Kenya.
They are playing for the national team.
And they're playing against younger people from other countries.
Or you hear a situation that the Special Olympics team is bringing more medals than able-bodied athletes.
But we never see them in the news. What recognition are they
getting? They're getting no recognition. We're on our TV, even journalists, I'm asking, really, what cover stories are you giving?
When is it happening?
22nd to 25th of November 2018. The opening ceremony will be on the 22nd of November at the museum courtyard. And then on the between the 23rd and the 25th of November, we'll be at the Louis Leakey Auditorium, where we'll be live streaming. We can't, we will not be able to have everybody in the room. However, you can engage us on social media.
Okay.
It will be live streaming. More to this, we will be having screenings of the movies that have come in at different places. Of course, at the auditorium in the evenings between 6 and 9 p.m. And the Indian High Commission has been very generous to give us their Upper Pants Hall. So that will be airing at the same time. And other venues we're hoping to lock down very soon, which we'll be coming back to tell you where they'll be showing. Okay. But yes, we in the evening, we want to make sure that people see these films.
So,
yeah.
Do we have a social media page for the Kenya International Sports Film Festival?
Yes, we do.
Want to mention it?
So our website is www.kisff.or.ke. And you'll find our Twitter handle and Facebook handles. From there, just click on it and you'll
Finally, where can fans find you?
Fans?
Yeah, you're an actor, no?
Do you know they find me, Mara Lioness, at Mara Lioness, or Nduts Floor on Facebook, and at Mara Lioness. You'll be able to find me, and of course we're always chatting. You guys are amazing. You know that, right? Yeah.
What inspires you?
Oh my God. Anything that would stir me to make change.
Anything that would stir you to make change?
Yeah, like you see, this kind of a thing I'm doing, it's going to make change. That inspires me. To see a smile on your face and like now you're smiling, that really inspires me. To make a difference, that inspires me. I'm bold. I'm not I don't cower at anything. I don't believe in failing. And the most important thing that I live by, it's my Bible. My peace of mind is not negotiable. Mm-hmm. We can't negotiate my peace of mind.
What's your mantra?
I don't have one.
What's your favorite quote?
My peace of mind is not negotiable. That's me.
Yeah. Advice to the upcoming actor, banker, leader.
Oh, follow your heart. Whatever field that you will find yourself in, unless it is what your calling is and you're enjoying it, doing it with no effort whatsoever, that is where you're supposed to be. But also I will teach you or tell you to please, your peace of mind is not negotiable, because there's sometimes we can ngangana with a certain job and you're so miserable and God is telling you move because my blessings are not there. So you end up getting more frustrated and frustrated and frustrated. Instead you move because I want to bless you. Even if you end up, and I've always said this, if I am able to go and sleep on the floor and I am able to sleep until morning, that is my peace of mind, because I have had experience in the past where it has not been pleasant, and I realized I was putting other people first and forgetting about me. So put your God first or whatever it is that you believe in, but don't forget you. Because you might burn out just giving, and then you've forgotten about yourself. You'll end up being an empty shell and you'll end up being depressed. A lot of things have happened in my life that have made me live like this. And I'll tell you, Isaiah, it's like when I had death in my family, bumper to bumper. I lost my dad. I lost my 2 brothers. We were only 3. So it's just my mom and I. That has taught me a lot. I went through a previous marriage that was abusive, and I almost lost my life. That taught me a lot. Made me look at people differently. That is why you find that I will not take certain abuse on a certain place because I don't deserve it. And I weigh my options and I say, do I really need this? No. And I can walk away with my head up high and feel 0. I mean, there were nights that you could not sleep. Unasikia bang, door ikibang, you're just like, oh God, you know? You can't sleep. So your peace of mind, even if you, wherever you live, your peace of mind that you can sleep comfortably, nobody should negotiate that with you. No one.
What's the lowest moment of your life?
Wow. The lowest moment, I think, is when I had all those losing members of my family bumper to bumper, because it happened in a span of 6 years. Was waking up one morning, because I'm the last born and only girl. I didn't understand what was happening. And I totally lost it in that I was taking care of my mom and forgetting that it was affecting me. And that is when I also lost a friend during that time. So it was I would not wish it on anyone to have the kind of experience I've had and the impact it had on me. That's why I don't judge anyone. And that is one thing I would like our actors to understand. You're investing in yourself now. Whatever you put into this body is what's going to be the outcome at the end. So what is your lifespan as an actor? Don't deal with distractions. Focus on and also the people you surround yourself with is very important. Because if you deal with you have a lot of negative people around you, my dear, you're not going anywhere. You're filled with a lot of negative energy, and that's not healthy at all. Afadhali ukae peke yako, ujiongeleshe. Because negative is this bad seed that's being implanted in you, and that can really affect your life. So learn to forgive, pray for your enemies, wish them well, but don't waste your airtime. Choose your airtime very well.
Sawa. Asante sana. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.